Hey, how you guys doing? This is Jonathan Overton speaking here, Jamming X Media. Well, we're here taking the time to talk about Monday's motivation. I'm just really excited about this week and excited for everything that's leading into this holiday season. Just trying to stay consistent and productive this whole entire time. But this morning I want to actually take some time and actually write out an action plan as to what I've been studying a little bit and something I kind of woke up with from some of my mentorship trainings about being intentional. So I was like, man, this is some solid teaching. So I would love to be able to share this with you. So I'm going to take some time and talk about like some of the education I got with today and some of the learning I got overall. So I took some notes here so I can keep myself a little bit more accountable. So as much as possible. So we're diving in, trying to change the room a little bit, trying to get a little bit more of a structural status here. We're going to be getting a different camera coming up here pretty soon, so I'm really excited to see what's going to come up for these videos in the meantime. But check it out, this is what we got going on for today. So today I was listening to one of my blog radio talks today from one of the guys that we listen to in the business, and he was talking about the purpose of being intentional in your business or in your everyday steps. And it was really hitting me personally because it was talking about how every morning you wake up, every day you get out of bed, you go to work, whatever you're doing for your business or whatever you're doing for your goals personally, your career in school, whatever it may be, or fitness goals, you should be intentional in everything that you're doing to strive you towards your goals. And so he had like a 5-point breakdown as to how he was talking about it. And so we're just going to take some time to go through it. The first one he was talking about was getting to the root of your why. If you guys have seen my previous videos before, you definitely know I'm a big person about understanding the purpose of your why. Without knowing your why, like I said in my first video I've ever made, without knowing your why, it's not going to give you any motivation to get up in the morning early, or it's not going to get you excited like, okay, I'm ready to face the day. Like earlier today it was like all cloudy and dreary, but then it got sunnier. But before that even affects you, if that does even affect you, you should be consistently focusing towards your goals. And so one of the things I like how he was bringing down was getting down to the root of the why. And one of the books I've been talking a lot about is called The Millionaire Success Habits. In that book, the author Dean takes some time and talks about this thing called the 7-step why. It's a process that you actually go through and actually getting down to the very root of why you're doing what you're doing. I was taking the time to go through that book myself and reading through it, and I'm just reading his personal breakdown of how he got down to the core of his why, like the very bane of his existence of why he is so motivated to do anything, why he works so hard, why he's such a family person, like what is the root of all of it. And in a nutshell, the whole entire 7-step why is you basically asking someone the question why to the answer that they already gave you on the previous question. So for instance, if I say like, okay, you've been watching my channel and everything quite a bit, you've been getting a lot of value out of it, that's awesome. So why do you like watching my channel? It's like you might say, well, I'm getting a lot of value of it and I want to be able to be successful as an entrepreneur, and I like seeing people that are going through that journey. Okay, awesome. Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? So I'm taking literally every answer that you gave me, I'm answering that to the next why that I'm going for. And you keep on doing this, and about the 7th time, you'll get down to the root of the why. And it's amazing seeing how it goes from the transition of your head, and then you start answering those questions from your heart. And I remember when I was personally going through it, like it ripped me to shreds. So I'm like, gosh, it tore me up because it made me understand the reason why I work so hard, why I'm so passionate about what I do for any adventure or I go for, whether it's a business or investments or anything like that. I always wonder, what is the purpose of why I'm always doing that? And it's amazing when I went through that book, that really kind of gave me a huge setup. So I'm thankful for that. But also in the training I was going through today was talking about the importance of, planning accordingly. You want to be able to wake up each morning and have an action plan as to what you're going to be doing. For me, as you've seen my previous stuff, I've already planned, I usually plan out my week before. So I usually on Sunday nights, I'm already thinking, cultivating, figuring out what am I going to actually plan out for this whole entire week. And I get an action plan set up there. But I make it a daily habit each day to physically write out what am I going to be doing for this day. And so you want to have an action plan as to how you're going to be doing things. We're going to cover that a little bit more in the next steps here. The second point he was talking about, words have power. So watch what you say. This is a very big one. Your self-talk is so critical. I constantly talk to a lot of my friends and a lot of people that either I do business with, or people that are, in the process of getting started in their own business, or they're trying to start their own brand, or yet they're just trying to do their own thing and trying to create additional income. And I always talk to him, I was like, what you put in your head is the biggest thing that matters the most. I'm always asking people, like, what are you reading? What are you doing to change your mindset? And part of one of my multi-level marketing businesses I used to be a part of, BWW actually. And when I was a part of that organization, I mean, we had a book of the month club. We had constant CDs coming in. So I'm constantly inundating and changing my mindset. So the way you speak to yourself is so critical when it comes to your overall performance in anything that you're pursuing. So in that he was talking about, I was like, how are you talking about either A, yourself, B, your mission, and C, your situation? Like, how are you talking about these things? Are you being completely negative about it? Like, are you saying like, I just don't feel like I'm going to make it today. It's just not good. What if you're constantly saying those things? You eventually your subconscious is going to believe that, and you're going to wake up in those moods like, ugh. I go back and talk about what I was mentioning in one of my other videos, how that week I was so like, oh, I'm not really so productive or anything like that. And I kept paying attention, like, why was I, like, for the past 3 days, why was I in such a slump? It was because of my self-talk. I'm like, wow, I never realized how much that made an effect. So it was great when I was listening to this point. So understand the power of the words you're saying. Those are so critical. Third point, focus on your actions that bring to you the results that you're trying to strive for. So, of course, what I have here, focus on the actions that brings the results you want. So this is a critical one. It's talking about mission critical actions versus a to-do list. Actually, one of the books I was reading, he was talking about the joy of, and instead of you saying it's a to-do list, it's a get-to-do list. Like, what do I get to do that's going to be bringing me closer to my goal? And so that was something that changed my mind. I was like, wow, I need to change how I'm saying, like, okay, I got a long to-do list. Because then if it looks like it's a to-do list, and it's a checklist of things I got to knock off because it's stressful. But when you say, like, you know what, I have, or better yet, you say mission critical actions. What actions am I doing this day that are bringing me closer to my goal, or helping me towards the promotion, or helping me towards my fitness goals, or anything? You have to go in there with a plan. I equate this big time with when I was training for CrossFit. Anytime I had competitions coming up and getting ready, I purposely made a habit just to go to the gym. There's sometimes I didn't have an action plan as to what I was doing, but once I got there, I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I need to work on this, this, and this. And then the cool thing about it is, because of the community I was connected with, or being around like-minded people, which we're going to cover in just a moment, because of me being around them, it started making me focus, like, okay, yeah, I need to work on this, I can do that, or in fact, I might just do what they're doing, and then eventually, once I get myself into action mode, now I'm actually pursuing my goals a little bit better. So it's critical to think about what things are you doing that's going to be helping you springboard to your goals quick down. This goes back to your why. What are your goals? What are the things you're trying to strive towards? What's your career endeavors? What are you trying to look for? So you need to have an action. You need to stay focused so that each action you're doing is bringing you closer to the result and the mission that you're trying to strive for. Fourth one. This is a big one. This is one I like the most. Speak it, share it, be relentless. In this point, my talker was bringing up a huge thing about when you share your passion, your dream, the very thing that brings life to you, like your why. When you're sharing what you're so excited about, it should bring life to you. And if anyone who's ever followed, most people who follow my channel, who know me in real life, if you get a chance to ask me, so what do you do for a living, or what is it that you do for your business? And I get the time to share it to you, they can tell you right now, like, yeah, he gets excited. So I get so excited when I'm talking to people about it, because I've always been raised to be a dreamer. Think of things different. Think of things outside the box. And so I get so excited when I do that. And then it's so funny, like, after I'm done talking to that person, I'm listening to them share about things that they want to start doing. And then I'm sharing stuff that I'm doing right now and stuff like that. It gets me so excited. And then I remember after leaving, like, events, if I'm at a party or hanging out with people, etc., and I'm done doing that, I just feel so energized. And it makes me like, oh, man, whatever ideas or things I was about to go home to go do and waste my time with me, I don't have time to watch TV series, because it's like it gets me energized to stay focused on my goal, because it's like I love that feeling of sharing my passion. So I want to keep this going. So that's what it comes down. Speak it. It brings life to your dreams. Share it. It also, not only does it bring life to other people, but it can also help motivate other people as well. And of course, be relentless. Like, even still, if you have days, like I mentioned, like those 3 slump days I was having, I still got back on the grind. There were still moments where I had times where I was constantly trying to, get back on focus, get back on the action mode. And because I was staying consistent with that, I'm like, you know what, cool, I'm going to get back into play. But once I started thinking about some ideas, I started dreaming, I get back into like, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of me doing this whole thing in the first place? My spark came back to life. And one of the things I was talking about, getting the cool thing that you can do about this too is talking to high performance people. The point he was bringing about this, and I'm going to cover this in my last point here, was when you're talking to high performance people, these are people who are actually in the mood. They're moving towards a direction, whether it's the same direction you're going or they're maybe focused on their career. They're looking at that next promotion, or maybe they're athletes. They're focusing on their next fitness goals, wherever they're trying to strive towards. You're getting yourself in a like-minded, you're getting around like-minded people, and you sharing your passions and dreams, and they're hearing that too, and if they're also in that same mindset, they help build you up. But that's something that's so critical, is being mindful. But let me go ahead and stop, because I'm about to move into my next point, which is point 5, is collaborating with high altitude people. This is what I was actually about to connect here, where the 4th point is really diving into this 5th point, is getting around like-minded people. If you've ever been in situations where you're around people who either A, don't think like you, they don't have the same passions as you, or it's fine if they, it's mindful if they don't have the same passions, but they just are just negative. Let's just say that they're just completely negative. They're frustrating. I don't like being around negative people. And it's funny whenever I taking the time to talk to people about what I do for business, I'm very mindful about who I share stuff with. One of the quotes I love from one of my motivational videos I listen to is like, dream big so big that they scare small minds. And no offense, sometimes, when I'm sharing certain passions, I'm very cultivating, I'm asking you kind of testing questions to see where your mindset's at. Because when people start asking us, like, so what are your big goals and dreams? Like, I'm going to scare you. I'm going to freak you out. So I'm mindful about who I share my stuff with. So that's why I'm big about, my inner circle, my people, people that I have in my personal life, whether they're mentors that live in this area, or some of my buddies that I talk to that are in my business that don't even live in this area, they live out of state or anything. Like one of my closest buddies, his name is Tristram. I'll give you a plug to his channel. He's a solid dude, big in fitness and everything. One of my fellow fitness nuts. And Tristram is one of those dudes where we stay iron sharpens iron. We're constantly motivating each other, staying on each other's butts. Yo, what are you doing today? You posting videos? You getting out here? You doing what you need to do for your business? So we stay on each other the whole time. Funny thing though, he lives in freaking New Zealand. So I'm like, well, dang. So we always find a way to still get in contact with each other. I got my friends over in California who are building their businesses over there. And then, of course, most of my other close buddies and everything, thank you to the internet, I stay connected with them. So, it's a huge blessing whenever I get a chance to be around like-minded people, share about dreams, goals, things I'm doing with, things I'm looking to focus on, especially going into this new year. And it's motivating to be around people that are in that same action mood. They're actually moving towards a direction as well. So they're not shooting you down, they're lifting you up. I remember one of my mentors saying this, that the strength that you have is never meant to destroy somebody, but it's always meant to help somebody else. So if you're taking the time to just be a Debbie Downer, and you're taking the time just to shoot down someone's dreams, goals, passions, and stuff like that, don't do that. Stop wasting your time. Be focused about what you're trying to strive towards and know your goals, And when it comes to people that are, high altitude people that are looking in a different direction, you see them moving, they may be a lot more wealthier than you, might have a lot more success or status that you don't physically see by materials, but you see by their values that they're talking about. The higher, the better. Because the thing about it is, if you consider yourself I feel like I'm a pretty average person, but you're hanging out with enough people that are above average, birds of the same feather flock together. Eventually, you will rise up to that mindset. You'll start thinking about things like that. It's amazing when I start talking to some of my buddies who are some of my investment buddies, and I listen to certain deals and things they're talking about, okay, what are we talking about now? So now it's forcing me, well, I want to know what you guys are talking about because I want to get into that circle. I want to understand a little bit more. And so it's a joy whenever I see that because it makes me become better. I start reading the books they start reading. I start talking the same language they're talking. And it's amazing, the more you hang around people that are in a better status than you, it's amazing how the same type of wealth mindset accumulates. Not even just the mindset, but the wealth itself. So it's a mastermind. It's tremendous to see how that works out. So anyway, those are my biggest points I was bringing up here was being intentional, having an action plan as to what you're focusing on. First thing, getting down to your why, knowing the root of what is the general purpose of why you're doing it. Try the 7 steps. Look it up on Google and see what you guys can do there. Second point up here is words that have power. Be mindful what you say. Third one, focus on your actions that are bringing results. What is your main focus and your mission that you're trying to strive towards? And is everything that you're doing moving you towards that direction? So if that TV show you're watching is wasting your time and they getting you closer to either A, financial freedom, or you traveling on the beaches of the world, you might need to cut that. Number 4, speak it, share it, be relentless. Constantly think about your dream. Keep it at the forefront of your mind. Keep moving towards that goal, because if you're not, then who is? No one's motivating you to do it. And next one, of course, be around like-minded people. You know, the higher, the better. Just be mindful of the people that you hang around. If they're negative the whole entire time, they're going to keep you down. Like crabs in a barrel. You know, if you're crabs in a barrel, they're going to keep you in the same barrel. So you got to sometimes rise above it. Or you might need to get some new friends. Because if they're not helping you get to where you need to go, then why are they in your life? So anyway, guys, those are my main points I'm trying to say is be intentional and know the points that you're trying to strive towards. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for following the channel. Hit the subscribe button on the corner over here. We're going to put it over there. And we're going to see some more videos posted out here for the rest of the week. Thank you so much, and enjoy the Facebook contest we're going to be posting out pretty soon so you get a chance to follow all that. All right, thank you much, guys. You have a good one.